There's too many books that I want to read. And what's funny about that is I've been looking forward to this TBR all year long. I love my sword and sorcery fantasy, but moody atmospheric reads, spooky scary books also have my heart claimed, and I typically save them for this time of year. Well, actually a lot of these are new releases, and my TBR is weeping because of it. There's adult fantasy I want to read, YA fantasy, shockingly, scary books, even sci-fi, like I'm really in the mood for sci-fi, and middle grade. Someone help me. I have been really trying to read what my mood is telling me to pick up, and right now it's everything, especially like haunted houses, because I recently read The September House, which was my favorite read of September, ironically. But anyways, I do have a priority read for the month, and I'm going to start with that one first. But before we do that, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, which is BetterHelp. Regardless if you have a clinical mental health issue like anxiety or depression, or if you're just having a hard time right now, therapy can give you the tools to approach your life in a very different way, especially with seasonal change arriving. And I know people can have seasonal depression, and BetterHelp is here to help all of us. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and accessible, and this is a very important mission because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you have limited options in your area. I live in a small city. That's not going to help me. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out just a few questions, you can be matched with a therapist in just a few days. Finding a therapist that you vibe with is important, and BetterHelp knows this. So you can easily switch to a new therapist at any given time with no additional cost. So if you're kind of struggling right now, you don't know what to do, and you want to try BetterHelp for yourself, you can click the link down below in my description box, which will not only support this channel, but also gives you 10% off your very first month of therapy. A huge thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. First on the list is a digital read. I know it hurts me too, but it's a book that I want to prioritize, and that is Warrior of the Wind. I do have this on my Kindle, though it hurts me because I want to physically read it. This is one of my most anticipated books of the year. It's The Seagull to Son of the Storm. It's a book that I adored so much when it released a couple years ago. That's right, a couple years. It's a book that I have been a cheerleader for just as long, but if I remember correctly, the author mentioned on Twitter that he wrote a what happened before summary, so you can like get a refresher because the series is deep, it's complex, and obviously it's been quite a while, so I could really use a summary of what happened in book one. Though actually I remember quite a bit from it, and I feel like that's just like the territory you get in when you absolutely love a book. You tend to remember more of it. Anyways, this is a pre-colonial African inspired fantasy. It's great. You should read it. Okay, let's move on. So the rest of the books, it's kind of a hodgepodge of everything, honestly. Red Rabbit. This is the first spooky read on my TBR this month, and this is a Western horror fantasy mix. Like I said, I'm in the mood for everything right now, and this sounds like a really good mix of everything that I'm feeling. Saddle up, it's going to be a bloody ride. And it just sounds really fun. It's following a character named Sadie, and she has a very large bounty on her head. As she's traveling across the desert, she ends up meeting other characters who join her on her journey, and it only makes the journey much more dangerous. I've mentioned before, but I really like Western fantasy as pretty much just as much as I like Egyptian fantasy as well. But what I'm not really into, and I'm moving on to my next book on my list, is witchy books, but it is October and I feel obligated to add a witchy book to my TBR. So I have The Night of the Witch by Sarah Rosh and Beth Revis. That's right, I've decided to include this one. This one releases in October, and I was sent a copy unsolicited, by the way, so I'm not obligated to read it, but I want to give it a chance because it does sound really cool. I've never super been into like witches and stuff like that. It's just not my cup of tea, but this is something I might be able to get behind, and I wanted to give it a shot. So this is following Fritzy, I believe. Yes, Fritzy, and she is the lone survivor of a brutal attack on her coven, and obviously she wants to get justice, so she hunts down the leader of the witch hunters who attacked the coven. But of course we also follow that leader of the witch hunters, and it does mention enemies to lovers romance, so I can only assume what's going to happen. Ooh, I did not realize this takes place in the 1500s. Oh, that makes this a lot more exciting, honestly. I was thinking it was like set in modern day, but it's not. That makes a lot more sense. Alrighty, we're going to move along. I do have 2 more physical books I want to talk about, but I really want to read What the River Knows. I'm dipping my toes into some really cool sounding historical fiction fantasy. I am normally like not big on historical fiction because typically they can be really focused on romance, which I don't care for, but this one is calling to me. It's an Egyptian fantasy being compared to The Mummy, and I love that movie, so I just have to give this one a try. It has what sounds like dealings in ancient magic because our characters are trying to find Cleopatra's tomb, which to this day has never been found, just like Nefertiti, and apparently she had some kind of magic. Honestly, I'm really hoping to read this during the time that I'm playing Assassin's Creed Mirage, which also comes out in October. It'll be like when I played God of War Ragnarok and read the Hanged God trilogy at the same time, both being Viking mythology, just like fully immerse myself in a certain genre and time period. I think that sounds really, really fun. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Okay, moving along to more of the physical books that I have here. So I have Stormblood. This is a military drug alien sci-fi, and I think it sounds so cool, and it sounds exactly what I'm in the mood for. Actually, I read the first couple pages and I was super into it, so yeah, I'm going to continue it immediately. I also have book 2, which is called Blind Space. I don't know if I will get to that one this month, so I might actually save that one for November, but nonetheless, my TBR is big enough. I don't need to add another book to it just to stress me out. So for now, I'm only focusing on book 1. This smells like a brand new book. Oh, it smells so good. Moving along to this absolutely unrealistic TBR, I would really like to get to Wolfsong. You guys have to tell me, unless this does involve animal death, I can't handle animal death. I used to kind of be able to like, oh, okay, yeah, that's sad, let's move on. Now I can't even look at it. I can't even hear it. Does this have animal death in it? It's about wolves. It has me even more worried because this is adult, I believe. I'm pretty sure TJ Klune got kind of angry that people kept saying that this was for a younger audience, and it is not. It's supposed to be brutal. I love brutal books, but not when it comes to animals, please. Oh yeah, the Green Creek series is for adult readers. They really want you to know that. For adult readers. Then why the hell give this like such a YA middle grade cover? Also, it's really shiny. Look at that, very holographic. Anyways, to the point, I'm going to read this. This is book 1. They completely repackaged this series. The entire series is out, but they're slowly re-releasing them in these beautiful covers. And I believe it's following a family of shapeshifters and whatever horrible atrocities that they run into. You know what? Since it's shapeshifters, so humans turning into wolves, it might not be so bad if one of them dies. Because I know they're just human. They're not actually animals. So you know what? I might be able to handle it. Okay, I'm going to quickly mention one more book that I would love to get to, and that is A Study in Drowning. I consider this a little more like creepy cozy for the month. It's the newest dark academia hitting shelves soon, and I do want to read it, though I am going into it hesitantly. I haven't loved this author's previous books, though I think they're written well. The characters I just tend to not connect with, but nonetheless, I'm excited about this one. I'm completely slayed by the cover, and I might actually have to go get myself a physical copy because it's gorgeous. Alrighty, everyone, so that is I'm sorry, this video is probably so disorganized and chaotic, but I really just I don't know what I want to read, but I also do know what I want to read. It's like such a weird gray area that I'm in right now. I want to read everything. So would this be considered my hopefuls? Anyways, let me know if you're in the same boat as I am, because who knows if I will get any reading done anyways because of all the video games that are coming out in October, like Alan Wake 2 and Spider-Man 2 and Assassin's Creed, and dude, there's too many things. My brain can't handle it. Also, a bunch of my new shows that I watch are coming out, like Survivor. The new season of Ink Master is coming out on November 1st. Stop this. I don't have time. Anyways, I really hope you enjoyed. Tell me if you are in the same boat as I am. And if you are in the same boat of anxiety as I am, try out BetterHelp. I'll leave the link down below for you if you want 10% off your very first month. I highly recommend it. Like this video if you liked, subscribe if you are not. I'd love to have you here, and until we meet again, happy reading.